Hello everyone. So in this lab we will be using parameter store to securely store our passwords. Parameter store is used generally to store encrypted value. It could be pass keys, it could be your password, and it's also easy to store plain text for our environment variable stuff. So for those use cases parameter store is used. You can go to AWS system manager from console, AWS system manager, and then on the left hand side you can see the parameter store over here. Just go to parameter store and create a parameter store, create a parameter. Let's follow this documentation. So I'm just gonna use this name to create parameter store over here, and then description is optional, we don't really need it. Sorry, yeah, and then we need to select the secure string because we're gonna save the password. If you want anything else, like just normal values, then we can just put string, or if you want to store JSON values, then you can use string list and you can set up the JSON kind of a value over here. But for secure string we use secure KMS key from our AWS KMS key source. So yeah, currently we got one. We can also create a new KMS if you want, but this is by default. We got a KMS key, our customer managed key from AWS, and it will use this key to encrypt our string. So I'll just put a simple password over here. The value so this is our password. Okay, super secret password 123 exclamation. Just create a parameter. Now we got our parameter store over here. We got our name and we got our value as well. If you click here, you cannot see the value directly, but if you just click on this, and you can see the value. Okay, so there might be a use case like there could be different passwords stored in that we want to share to someone, but we don't want to copy paste it in a chat. Then we just create a parameter store and then give access to the parameter store, and they will be able to access this value as well. Okay, we just give the ARM value. So how do we access this value in our Lambda function? Let's go to Lambda function. So let's go to our Lambda function and just create a new one. Just gonna name it retrieve password function. Now we're gonna select Python 3.13. You can select any of this, but for this lab I'm gonna select Python. Just create a function. Okay, so I'm just going to accept this, and I'll just copy paste the code that we have in our runbook. I'm just going to paste it over here like this. So this is our Python code. So let's go through the code a little bit. So we're going to use our Boto3 library in Python, and we're going to give it a SSM client over here. This is an SSM client object. So with this object we can use different functions like get parameters, and we're going to use this particular line of code to get a parameter from our parameter store. And we can say we want the name my secure password. If you go to my parameters, you can see my secure password is the name of our parameter store variable. Okay, so if you change the variable name over here, then make sure you change the variable name over here as well. And after so with this particular client we can get a parameter store password, and in response we got parameters and values, and then we're gonna print it out in the log console like this. Let me just deploy it. Once that, let's test it out. I'm just gonna create a test event, create a new test event, name gonna be test. We don't actually need any of this value. So I'm just gonna put it over here, but these values are not being used in this particular example. So just save it. Yeah, and now we can test it out. So it says failed to retrieve a password, and it says like it's not authorized. So one thing is the Lambda function also need to be or have an authority to access the password or to access the parameter store, this particular section, right? So we go to our configuration, we go to permission, and it says resource-based policy, but we can also use Lambda role instead of that. So we can either use the resource-based policy, but generally this is used whenever something has to access the Lambda function. But when the Lambda function has to access something, then we use the role. Okay, so that's the difference between the role and the resource-based policy. So whenever the something else has to access the Lambda function, then we put it over here. But when the Lambda function has to access something else, then we put it in the role. So go to role, we can just click it over here and just paste and edit. Oh, sorry, my bad. Just click on this role. It only has one basic Lambda execution function, but let's add a permission. We're gonna create an inline policy. Let's select the policy for our parameter store. Or if you are a little bit confused on this particular section, you can just go to JSON, and we got our JSON in our runbook. Just copy paste runbook content over here. So generally what this is trying to do is what this is trying to do is it actually enables the role or this particular Lambda function to allow it to get parameters. So that's the permission over here, and we are facing error because it says it needs to have an account ID over here, but we haven't put any. So just copy the account ID and post it over here. The region should be just give it a second. So yeah, I got something from the runbook. Just paste it up, and you can see EU West 2 is the London region. So if you go to London, and you can see EU West 2, and then just paste the user ID account ID over here, right, like this, and then you can create next. Policy name could be, well, we can say my secure password. Create policy. So if you go to the policy again, and just make sure you put the exact name. My secure password is the parameter store name. If you go to the parameter store, my secure password, yeah, and we have attached this policy to our Lambda function, right? It already have this policy. Now go to code and test out. So you can see now we can access the password, and it says the password is super secure password 123. So that's how you access the password, or yeah, so that's how we access the password from the parameter store. Yeah, that's all for this lab. Thank you.